Halftime. Da. Am I doing the basketball
You're
theme?
doing the basketball thing.
Is that the TNT one?
You're doing the
No,
old
no,
round
it's
ball rock.
Round Ball Rock. Ba basketball. Gimme the ball because I'm gonna dunk it. That one always cracks me up. Yeah, interesting game as Drew says something, probably whispering sweet nothings to the missus there. You're saying something. You're muted still.
Yeah, well, yeah. Go ahead and set the stage. What a terrible game this is.
Yeah, and the problem was too is like, all right, clearly Nick Foles not quite ready for primetime player, not up to speed with this offense, and then also deciding to be full YOLO ball guy. Like, I'm just gonna throw some balls downfield, see what happens. The problem with that, the other team didn't seem to want to convert third downs. They got a little unlucky at a couple, like some good throws, bad catches. But at a certain point, it's like, man, if the Chargers play this game, Nick Foles is going to luck himself into like one drive where he doesn't throw an interception. They're going to lose this game like 10-7. And truthfully, that's
You think that's still in the
no, I mean
possible?
10,
No.
10-7 would be hard to lose now that they already have 10 points.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they need to do a lot more on offense. And yeah, I know they're a bad running team. They can't run the ball. They never have, never will. Like 7-up. Just get a little better on third down. Be a little better about not wasting downs, and you kind of win this game on attrition, right? The Colts haven't done a whole lot. They have almost 100 yards, but a lot of it.
The game should kind of be over already.
Yeah.
Right. Like it should probably be. This should probably be over.
The
fact that it's only 10-3 is kind of just by some weird penalties on the Chargers defense. Some not undeserved, but the penalties really helped that one scoring drive. And then
I'll say that the Derwin James one. God, our friend Grinding Eddie in the chat, what did he say? You know how everyone says like, "Oh, back in the day," he's like, "That's a dirty play in 1970." It's like, yeah, maybe they surely don't eject him. They might not even flag it. But if you're a receiver on the other team, it's almost like baseball back then. You keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah, right.
Coming
You're
for
just
your
like,
ass.
so we're head hunting.
We're playing that game.
Okay. I like Derwin James too. But that was
that pick. Oh man, he got up. He got up off the ground for that interception.
Yeah, Keenan Allen already has his yardage and receptions total with 7 for 77. He is sort of the featured, part of the offense so far, which is cool. He probably should have had that touchdown. This should be 14-3.
Yeah, I know.
This should be a runaway.
Fact that this is a 7-point game is
and not really indicative of how imbalanced these two teams are right now. Herbert settled down after a sketchy start. He went 11 for 11 there for a bit. You know what play exemplified why I hate the Chargers and why I can never really back them sincerely? Third and goal. They threw the ball to Austin Eckler at the 8.
At the 7 or 8 yards.
At the 8?
Just like handing them a broken compass, you figure the rest out.
Honestly, like the risk of a turnover at that point is so much higher than the likelihood of a touchdown. You might as well just kick the field goal on third down. Like I honestly have no idea what did you gain?
Right? The likelihood of like a fumble there is higher.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like you've introduced much more likelihood that you're going to turn the ball over than you have given yourself a better chance to score a touchdown. So why'd you do it? Right? Like that was kind of exemplary.
I think that's the problem.
Stupid this offense is.
That's the problem we have with, and I don't even want to put it all on Staley. Like that's the problem we have with this offensive coordinator.
Yeah, but the offensive coordinator, because he set that play up. Basically, he asked Herbert to do that. We're assuming, like Herbert deciding to go along with it is kind of like he's either adopting bad tactics because of his tutelage, or he doesn't get it that that's a terrible decision to make. There's literally no good outcome from that, only bad, and you might as well kick it. I was appalled by that. That was just disgusting. That was even more disgusting than Derwin James trying to end poor Ashton Doolin's career. Ashton Doolin, who we put the whammy on in the podcast.
Yeah, I know. And if anybody who caught our show earlier today, that we did the recap show, we joked. He said sometimes these quarterbacks who play on the practice squad, they have a connection with maybe someone who's not in the starting lineup per se, because they always play with them on the scout team. So do we bet Ashton Doolin to catch 3 touchdowns? Sorry to him and his family. We put the, like Drew said, we put the whammy on him. I'm not a strong bet, but I'm gonna play some Chargers second half. My only hesitation on betting the Chargers is a team with, what do you want from a team with a lead? You want them to be able to run the ball effectively. Not really something they can do. So I found it at just a 0.5 at bookmaker for minus.
Andy, if Nick Foles scores double digits in this game, so be it. I'll live with that.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's coming. It's not happening. Now that's not to say that the Colts can't cover if the Chargers get shut out in the second half because of their stupidity. Like, that's on the table, surely. But Chargers second half is the play for sure.
How big of a, and you can just guess at this, how big of a company, how big of a business is the NFL? Like, what's the number they always throw out there? Like 4 billion or 44 billion or
the NFL?
Yeah.
100 billion.
100 billion. Okay. So I just think about that, and I think about like other jobs I've had at like factories or even companies I've owned that have obviously been very small.
Sure.
Like, that's what worries me about some of these play callers is, and I get it. Not everything has to be analytics based, but I think the biggest part of analytics is retroactive, or like retrospective rather, like going back and, I mean, how much, what's the average amount of plays a team runs? Like 75, 80 in a game?
Yeah, 75.
It is not that. You're already looking at tape. Like, you need to be looking back at it, not only from here's what went right, here's what went wrong, but from the play sequencing standpoint, how did we call this drive? Why did we call this play in this situation? Like, I know plenty of teams are, but that's what I'm thinking about the Chargers. I feel like they're not even going back and looking at this to determine, hey, this was a horrible play call in this situation. We have to know. Yeah, I know I meant to say 4 trillion. That sounded obscene.
The NFL TV deals alone are worth 100 billion.
Yeah, 4 billion is still, it's crazy. That was a lot of money back in the day, but I meant to say 4 trillion.
$4 billion industry.
But doesn't it feel like a team could just, I don't know, separate the wheat from the chaff pretty quickly if they went back and looked at their game plan?
You would think,
like, oh man, like, what?
Well, that's like that's the conundrum that is the Chargers all along. Like, they're
not doing it.
They're not only are they not doing it, but they've adopted some aspects of plus EV NFL, and other aspects they're just kind of like guessing, right? Like, there's a lot of like, they're not really actually doing the math and doing the homework. They're just kind of like, it's good to be aggressive, so let's be aggressive, without actually knowing in any given play if that's correct. Do you know what I mean? And in the same sense, like, well, I mean, defending the pass is important. Defending the run is stupid. Let's just double down and get J.C. Jackson instead of, investing in any player that can tackle or, gap control for us, right? And or like, hey, well, the entire, the passing game matters, running game doesn't. So let's just, double down on, players that can help the passing game, and the running game will just, it'll just suck. But who cares? The running game doesn't matter, right? Like, they've kind of accepted some truths without actually doing the homework, and that's affecting them. And I feel like Staley is a little fake sharp because of that. And honestly, Staley's decision making and kind of just general regression in the correct decision making of when to go for it and when not to is it's just a sad sort of side plot of the 2022 season.
Sam Lipscomb brings up something here. He's making a little joke. I want my Derwin James over 1.5 interceptions refunded, shaking my head. I don't want to dip into the biggest story on gambling Twitter today because we simply don't have the time, and I like too many people involved to get real in the weeds on that. But
Wow, that was wild.
maybe the second biggest gambling Twitter kind of this has been something that's been brewing, and Jeff Benson over at Circa is a big like he's
An
outspoken.
instigator.
Well, he's a bit of a he's outspoken opponent to books doing this when and,
The
I
refund.
think
Refund
he has
marketing.
a point. Yeah, I think he has a point. Like when it's a big game and like some player gets hurt on like the first play or the first drive, that's fine. Like it's a fun little thing. But now like people are generally upset when it's not happening. Like they're very entitled at this point. Like this is dumb. Why did they even hang this line? Because he was kind of an injury risk. I'm like you are saying that, but you bet it.
Yeah,
Like, you bet an
Andy,
injury risk player. Like
you're acting surprised.
I know. I just didn't think it would be this quick. Like there's so many people that are just tweeting out. It becomes a trending topic. Like who was the NBA player? Booker. Booker went out early. Like refund Booker was like a trending topic.
I would have been happy if my some of my son's money line bets got refunded.
Yeah, I mean that's just part of the deal. I think.
Yeah, it is part of the deal. I've won enough. You're going to win enough and lose enough over the balance of your life doing this that you don't really have a case for bad beat, especially if you're playing player props. Like one of the truest golden angle of playing player props is play the under because guy gets hurt, he's not making his total. Yeah. Like that's kind of what
Derwin James wrecks. Yeah, Derwin James turns his brains into scrambled eggs.
Yeah,
you hit your under.
Yes, yeah, your under's good.
Anybody that's looking for the big story, go find Kanish or Rufus or
Pikachu started it.
Pikachu is getting
and
Zilbo. You know what? Seth Burns actually had a poignant tweet thread. Usually, honestly, Seth Burns is a very smart individual.
Yes, he is.
He can just be a little caustic at times, which is, I mean, that's just
right.
that's how Twitter works. But he had a pretty poignant little tweet thread, and the back and forth between Rufus and Captain Jack and Kanish and everybody who's getting involved. That's obviously the entertaining part of gambling Twitter.
I'll be honest with you, man. If you think I understand everything about every aspect of gambling Twitter, you're sorely mistaken. And honestly, like. I like kind of reached out to Pika just to be like, hey man, like, what am I missing here? And he kind of filled me in on, and I was like, holy fucking shit. I had no idea what was going on with some of this stuff. And I guess I'll tell you about it off the air, but
yeah, everybody's mad at everybody. It's the goddamn holidays, guys.
I didn't understand it. So I was like, dude, I mean, aren't we all winning? Like, what the fuck's happening? What is happening here? But no, I understand it now. And I'm kind of, I don't know. I mean, I get it. Like, if you're aggressively eroding edge for people who are grinding, like, it's kind of fucked. But
well, yeah, you're going to make enemies.
Yeah.
Those are the people that are grinding those edges.
Yeah. Instead, we choose to, we put a podcast. We
erode our own edges.
Yeah. For no money.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna have you guys. There'll be some goddamn ad reads this offseason. Expect that. That's coming. Happy holidays, boys. Says Charles Saul.
I'm having a little. We're getting into the eggnog tonight.
Are you nogging it?
Nogging it tonight. They got the key though was the fresh grated Virgin Islands nutmeg, straight from the Soggy Dollar Bar. It's a good nog though. Cheers to everybody. Sorry we didn't do any halftime pods in the last handful of games, but we missed you guys.
I will say too, there is something to be said for actually buying the nutmeg nuts.
Yes, with
a
microplane
and doing that. It wasn't this drink. There was another drink I put it on. I can't remember what it was.
Painkiller.
No, I think it was a Brandy Alexander. When I made
Brandy. Oh, nice.
Remember the Brandy Alexander when
The
Yeah, we had a
class,
good
yeah.
weekend. We got the middle of the Cowboys game.
Oh my god, this weekend was
Basically
great.
every
I don't know
teaser
that I'm
cashed.
never gonna have another NFL professional weekend like
You
this
know, it was
last
a
weekend.
big part of me
Never again.
making money. There just wasn't college basketball. Kept me away from that.
I didn't bet any NBA. That helped me.
The World Cup is over. That helps.
That also helped. That did. That's weird. How
all right,
that
but
works.
anyway, back to Charles' question. Before
I didn't bet any bowls. Yeah, everything
stay too
was
long
positive
today. But
yeah.
happy holidays, boys. What do we make of the spread in the Miami New England game now? Bridgewater
Makes more
can
sense.
still win this game.
First of all,
so it is Patriots minus 2.5 right now.
Do we owe Stinky 2 an apology? He was apparently silly Tua.
So it makes
soup Tua. Like
some of those throws
brain
make a lot more
scrambly
sense if he was legitimately suffering from concussion, symptoms, and they didn't pull him off the field. I give him a little more leeway on those throws because they were horrible throws, and we hope he's fine, obviously. But yeah, I mean, right now it is Patriots minus 2.5 at bookmaker. There's a case to be made for Miami money line.
There is, I think so.
Teddy's a beautiful game manager, man.
We haven't seen a bunch of good Teddy though this year. At least with a week of first team reps, though, it could be better than what we saw from him. I don't know. The Patriots defense. Oh, the Patriots. So are they going to let Teddy?
I like McDaniel putting a game plan together for Teddy all week, having it and saying like we're going to do a bunch of short to intermediate stuff with these all-star receivers.
Let Teddy scramble.
Work. Yeah, for sure.
Although he does have a problem because he's like a little bit lumbering out there when he's scrambling because of his giant,
And the Yan man himself, Ryan Yan, says, I like teasing. Yeah, that's a pretty good teaser leg.
It is a good one. What's that total? 39?
40? 41.5.
41.5. Oh, it went up with Teddy in?
Apparently.
Huh.
Oh, man. We had a really nice play come back and hold. We should Trey Pipkins the third.
Andy, I have a weird hot take.
What's that?
Almost every single game that the Colts have played since Jeff Saturday's been the coach, they have gotten the benefit of the refs giving them like a lot of help.
Bad.
Yes, there's been a lot of we feel bad for the Colts. We're going to try to keep them somewhat viable.
Yeah, that was a hold. I mean, that was a hold.
Yeah, but they're calling all of it. Like every opportunity they can to try to level the playing field, they're doing it.
Last
you kind of look like Jeff Saturday. You got a little. Jeff
my hair's
Saturday.
not curly enough.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
I should get a perm.
That's true.
I almost for the Halloween episode, I thought about seeing if my haircut lady could get me in for a perm to do that. That's a commitment. All right, last topic before we go for the diehards who stayed. Nathaniel Hackett. We said like, hey, it might take till the end of the season. Obviously, a Baker Mayfield 50 burger put him in his proverbial coaching grave, and that's probably the correct move. Like, they weren't going to retain him for next year, I don't think. So, whatever, get it over with. But the Schefter tweet about who they're elevating to interim coach, just fucking like I had to check to make sure it wasn't a fake Schefter, right? Because it said like
that was my first reaction.
Oh my god! I double checked. I said this is.
It's like I'm getting trouble.
It basically said
yes.
So the guy that Hackett brought with him to help him with time management and timeouts is who they elevated. Like, how is that guy not playing?
I don't know.
Because they did, and this is just coming across from my Fantasy Life app, they did also get rid of the special teams coordinator, Dwayne Stooks, and offensive line coach, Butch Berry.
Wow, Butch Berry, casualty, huh?
Butch Berry, that's two first
He must
names.
have said, hey, if you fire Hackett, you fire me too. And they were like, okay, you're fired. And he was like, yep, going down with the ship here. The decision was correct.
Turned down the interim job.
The DC is smarter than he looks.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. It doesn't really matter who the interim coach was. You fire Hackett to send a message to the players who look like they quit. which is you are still playing for your job next season,
Yep.
and you need to try. You need to show us that you are engaged. And I think expecting a little bit more honest effort out of some of the role players on the Broncos this week is a fair assumption. I think in that same vein, expecting that the Texans pull their punches a little, is a fair expectation. I mean, you got your second win, and a third win is trouble. So, yeah, I think the Jaguars are win by 1 billion, even though they struggle against the Texans. Miserable punt from the Chargers. These guys can kiss my ass, but they're still going.
One last question, rapid fire style. Where does Brady play next year? Gangrene for me.
What?
Although I do believe he truly does play for the Raiders. But I mean,
that's what all the buzz
so Raiders is logical. Gangrene is the fun one.
Yeah, Gangrene.
They're building something there, and if they had a quarterback,
they can't possibly be.
I mean, she doesn't know it's a nickname. She thinks we're talking about people's toes falling off. Our pets' heads are falling off. It's a disaster. So, on that note,
my wife does not want to see Tom Brady play for the Jets. She's not into that at all. Raiders is probably
Raiders is the logical choice. So, all right, we'll catch you guys Wednesday.